Hey guys, in today's video I wanted to really challenge myself in Minecraft. See, Minecraft isn't usually very difficult, so to alleviate this, many play it on hardcore mode. This does the job pretty effectively by making all the mobs do a lot more damage, as well as adding the constant fear of dying once and losing everything. However, I've beaten Minecraft multiple times on hardcore, so I decided I wanted something more difficult, and I figured, 10 hearts? Seems a bit much. 9 too much, in fact. So I decided I would try to survive 100 days in Minecraft Hardcore, but I only have 1 heart. Unsurprisingly, this was a very hard challenge, but it was quite fun, as it forced me to do a lot of things I wouldn't when normally playing. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into it. First day of the run started pretty normal. I just started by punching some trees. I saw this big water cave thing, and I was like, maybe I'll explore it sometime. Well, I guess I'm exploring it now. I found this light in the water, so I obviously explored it, because there could be diamonds. Surprisingly, there weren't any diamonds, but there was coal, and I'm a pretty coal guy myself, so I decided this would be the perfect time to get myself set up with my tools. One nice thing about this cave was it had glowberries, which aren't a great food source, but I had no food, so I really needed them, and at least it's better than my mother's cooking. I tried to explore a little bit for iron, but I saw skeleton rattles in my subtitles, and skeletons are really scary in this challenge, so I decided I'd just go strip mine until I at least got a shield. Also, you may have noticed I'm playing fairly risky by going immediately into the caves looking for diamonds, but the challenge kind of forces you to do this. Getting full iron really does nothing for you, and only once you get diamond armor can you actually tank an attack from even easy mobs like zombies and skeletons. Eventually I found some iron, but more importantly I found a mine shaft, which is actually really good for this challenge because mine shafts are really safe due to how thin they are, and also they have nice chests which can have things like golden apples, so I was hyped. I saw a creeper, but already you can see how nice it is blocking off any threats in a mine shaft, but I decided I'd go back and deal with the creeper just because he was sitting on a chest and there could be loot. He kept getting stuck on a cobweb, which made it very easy, but I think he just had a sense of humor, which I respect, you need a sense of humor working in the coal mines. I checked out the chest, and it was alright. Iron pickaxe is convenient, and some food and lights is always useful. Anyways, I found some more iron, and also, you might be wondering why it says day 4 at the top instead of day 1. Well, it all started when... Basically, the last run I was doing, I was on day 4, and it was going super well. I got in 19 diamonds, and I had narrowly escaped death multiple times, but I needed some iron, so I was looking around some surface caves that I thought would be safe. I found this one crevice, and I was hoping it'd have iron, I saw a chicken clucking noise prompt in my subtitles, so when I saw this little white head in the darkness, I just thought it was a chicken in dim lighting. It was, in fact, not a chicken. Anyways, back to this run. I realized the day issue and fixed it, as well as getting deeper into this mine shaft where I found a golden apple in this chest. Yum. Golden apples are incredibly useful in this run, since they provide a temporary 2 hearts of absorption, making them as a must, because they'll effectively triple my health, which is required for later strong mobs. Also, for whatever reason, I was compulsively hoarding the minecart chests until later on when I had like 8 of them in my inventory and I had to throw most of them out. After walking a little bit and not finding much, I decided to set up a shield since I was getting pretty close to diamond level and I didn't want to die at this point. I walked for a pretty long while in this mine shaft before I found diamonds! I had to be careful though, there could be mobs anywhere and I don't want to die in front of the diamonds, that'd be embarrassing. There was also lapis here, which is sick, because I need that for my enchants later, because I need my Bane of Arthropod sword. Diamonds! Anyways, I traveled for a bit more in the mine shaft, but unfortunately there were no more diamonds there, and the shaft ended, so I had to start strip mining and hope for a cave, since I was already super deep down and there would inevitably be some diamonds. While strip mining, I acquired a few more diamonds and stumbled on this cave where there were some monsters mashing, so, I had to beef with them, since monsters love diamonds almost as much as I do. I must stress here, I was genuinely really scared, as I had already acquired 10 diamonds and a single zombie hit could kill me. Fighting them was obviously not the hardest thing in the world because they're only zombies, but still it's incredibly scary, just having one block between life and death, because if something comes from behind me, it's over. After killing them, I returned to their little area, and there was surprisingly no loot, just depression and redstone, and honestly, I don't know which of those is worse. Overall, this cave was a bit disappointing, but I did find a little bit of gold, which will help with golden apples later. I explored around a bit more, and I found a couple more diamond 1 veins while strip mining, and so I just strip mined for a pretty long time. Eventually, I crafted a diamond pickaxe and got to collecting some obsidian since it was super important both for my nether portal and enchant table. I was getting close to the materials I needed, but I was still missing quite a few diamonds since strip mining was really slow going. As I was leaving the cave, I picked up some diamonds from strip mining, and I was so hyped my PC froze a little bit, but I was kind of disappointed because all the diamonds I got from this run were basically just strip mining or from mineshaft chests, which isn't super hype. Like, I would have preferred it if those zombies had some diamonds, but I won't complain, I got diamonds. Later on, while I was mining out, I found a mineshaft with a chest with quite possibly the most insanely good loot ever, an enchanted book of vanishing. I didn't even know you could just get a curse as a book. You can even see me in the recording stop for a second shocked at the enchanted book I just got. I found more diamonds while strip mining and was feeling quite lucky as I was getting close to all the diamonds I needed. However, little did I know I'd have to spend the next 2 days just strip mining to find the couple more diamonds I needed. But on day 8, I emerged from the mine happy and shielding myself from the sun like a true gamer. But mostly because I was afraid a skeleton might somehow be there. After a while of running on the surface looking for a place to settle down, I found this village that would be perfect. I then went into another world to do some armor testing. The testing was just me getting hit over and over again because I wanted to confirm my armor damage calculations were correct, since I'd already died once tragically in my first run from miscalculating how much a zombie hit would do to me, though my response to that death was fairly amusing. Well, that's a bit unfortunate. I then spent a little time bridging over this massive ravine in the village, as it'd be kind of sad if I were to just fall into the hole and die at this point. I also tried to free this cat, but she seemed to prefer the cave, so I just left feeling rejected as usual. Before day 8 finished, I decided to craft my last pieces of diamond armor and started a little farm, since I needed food and also paper for books. And I also would need the paper for my cartographer, since I wanted to get the Woodland Mansion map from him, since getting totems of undying would be so useful. Preventing your death and giving 5 absorption hearts is just so powerful, even if it will be incredibly dangerous to collect due to the mobs there. Day 9 came around, and I was desperate for fruit. Luckily, while running around for sugarcane, I found some berries. I was careful picking them though, as standing in one for a second would kill me. Day 11 started with me changing the day number just to realize I forgot to record day 10. However, not much happened on either of these days, as I effectively just spent them bringing cows and chicken to my base with some crops I borrowed from the villagers. There were also some sheep nearby, but I think they must have been some sort of hurricane that killed them. I mean, I wouldn't kill them. I also set up an enchantment table and quickly realized it had no purpose yet since I didn't have any bookshelves for good enchants, but at least I had it. I tried to convince some of the villagers to become cartographers, but they weren't having it, and I was getting mad. I even took out my anger on this fence in the town center. But I apologize to all my fans for the sudden burst of violence, and I assure you I will improve in future. Day 12 I got a cartographer and was so happy. I even forgot to adjust the day number because I was so happy. I also looked at his trades and they were a bit disappointed, but alas, I'll just be needing a lot of paper. The rest of day 12 and day 13 I pretty much just collected sugarcane and expanded my farm. I did say I'd need a lot of paper. Day 14 I made a little map of my base and put it on an item frame. Wow, truly a work of art. I also decided that day to build my nether portal. It was a bit dangerous since I didn't wear any gold armor, so if there was a piglin there, I would have just died, but fortunately there weren't, so I just built a little enclosure to make sure no mobs would come out. Day 15 I set up a little fishing outpost, but I seemed to be going insane based off the signs I was placing. Day 16 my fishing outpost was set up nicely for me to spend many days fishing, hoping for loot, just to realize my water was actually not big enough to give any treasure, so I just ended up with a lot of fish. I mean, at least it's food. Day 17, I decided I'd put some of my raw fish to good use and get myself a cat. Not only do I love cats, but they also scare away creepers in Minecraft, though I am sleeping every night, so there aren't really creepers around, but I mean, I still love having a cat around. Fortunately, he got tamed with my last fish since I was cooking my others. I decided to name him Aristotle, because I like the letter A. Day 18, I spent fishing, hoping for mad loot. How sad. Day 19, I set up my tree farm. I need the apples for golden apples, and also having the wood helps a lot. Day 20, I basically just spent farming, but then on day 21, I did some trading with my cartographer. I also noticed that if you hold a trade item in front of a villager, they hold an emerald out, which I just thought was a nice touch. Anyways, I was hoping my villager would get a better trade when he leveled up, and he did. He got glass panes for emeralds, which is really fortunate, as I have a bit of an addiction to glass, so I already had collected a bunch of it, so it'd be easy to get emeralds. I also decided that day I needed to make my own house, as the guy's house I'd been borrowing without permission is a bit cramped and, frankly, doesn't fit my Gucci lifestyle, so I got to building. Well, terraforming it first, and then building. Day 22, I finally got the Woodland Explorer map and realized, unsurprisingly, it's very far away. Day 23 through 28 I streamed to my one viewer. Shout out to Aaron Plays Earthbound. He was at all the streams, so I appreciate that. However, my laptop had a problem downloading the VOD for the stream, so now we're at day 29 with a nicely completed house with a little chimney I was quite proud of. I also got a Power 5 bow in that time, which I got from a librarian I was rerolling. Later that day, I tried to reroll my librarian again for a while, before realizing once you trade with a villager, their trades and job are set. Day 30, I set out for the Woodland Mansion. I almost forgot to bring a bed, which would have been possibly running, as if night fell, even with my armor, all those mobs could very easily overwhelm me and kill me. By day 31, I finally reached the biome the Woodland Mansion was in. However, the journey clearly took a toll on my mental health, as I had forgotten to change the day number, something I'd never done before. Near the end of the day, I arrived at the mansion. It was a treacherous journey, but nowhere near as dangerous as the mansion itself would be. I decided I'd build up to the top of the mansion since that would give me the best vantage point to pick off evokers and avoid the Vindicators. I went to sleep, and as day 32 rolled around, the importance of this point really came to my mind. This was a turning point. If I succeed and get my totems of undying, ideally without losing any, I'd have this incredibly valuable resource that is pretty much necessary if I intend to live in this world long term. If I die though, I'd lose countless hours of work and probably give up on this challenge altogether. It took me a while to get in safely as I kept picking off new mobs that spawned, but finally I saw a chance to kill an evoker. Unfortunately, he got closer than I would have liked and summoned some Vexes which hurt really hard. Fortunately though, these Vexes seemed to be a bit stupid and didn't hit me when they got close, initially, giving me time to run back and pick them off. Though it wasn't as clean as I would have liked, I cleared out the remaining Vexes and Vindicators nearby and picked up my first Totem of Undying, but I would need more to help me fight the Ender Dragon, and it'd be kind of a waste to only get one at this point. I heard an evoker murmuring, so I wandered around looking for it, before realizing after 3 more golden apples that it was right underneath me. This was perfect as I could just take a shot on it from above and then water bug it down. Unfortunately, he got some Vexes off, which was really scary. As you can see here, they do really big damage, completely annihilating my absorption hearts. Plus the fact they go through blocks doesn't help, so I had to run away for a second, snipe them off. Eventually I got all of them, and I could bucket in and collect my loot. I killed one more evoker that was just kinda out in the open, and decided 3 totems would be enough for now, since I didn't see any more easy to take out evokers, and I'd run out of golden apples. So I took some advice from my dad, and I just left. I realized I'd forgotten to change days on my way home, so it was now day 33, and I decided to check out some things I skipped on my way initially to the mansion. I skipped them mostly because if a trident drown spawned in the ocean, I'd just be screwed before, but now, I'd probably still be screwed, but I at least have a chance with totems. My first destination was the shipwreck that was barely underwater. I had to still be careful as 2 ticks of drowning would kill me and I didn't want to lose a totem to that. I found the chest and it had okay loot. Emeralds are okay, but I was hoping for a buried treasure map, so I kept exploring. I found another shipwreck that was completely beached. I remembered passing by this, so I decided to take a little look-see inside. First chest didn't have much, and I couldn't find if there was a second chest, so I made my way out. Anyways, on day 34, I forgot to set the day tracker, but I did find a buried treasure map. I was excited as I'm a pretty big booty guy. I located the X mark on day 35, and I kid you not, it took the full day and then a little bit just to find the chest. However, once I did find the chest, I was happily greeted with the Heart of the Sea, which is mostly what I wanted because I had some cool water ideas for a conduit, and also, you can't get it anywhere else. I surfaced and you can see just how much destruction I needed to find this one chest. I feel like sometimes buried treasure chests are super hard to find, and sometimes they're just right where you start digging. Regardless, once I got home that day, I decided I'd upgrade my house a little bit with some chests, which my cats then just immediately sat on, as I got a couple more after Aristotle to keep them company. The rest of the day was just farm keeping, but I gotta mention how cute it is that the cats just lie on the bed and purr. The next couple days was just farming up apples and sugarcane, because I needed bookshelves and I also really needed golden apples. Day 41, I decided I'd start a building project for my enchantment table. To be completely honest, I started it, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, but eventually it came together nicely, I think. At first, though, all I really knew was I wanted a gray palette, and it was coming together nicely, at least the base of it, but it was getting late, so I had to take a little nappy. Snore. Day 42, I realized I needed some coal, so I went exploring nearby and found this devious-looking cave. Honestly, it could be a really nice future building site, but for now, all I wanted was some coal. I was very surprised at the time there were no mobs. That was basically all I did that day, other than some farming. The next day, I made some nice progress on the enchantment area. I decided to go with this ruins aesthetic, which I thought was nice, and fitting for an enchantment area. Day 44, I basically just collected resources for the ruins, but day 45, it was really starting to come together. I had this kind of bridge leading up and some structures sticking out. I thought added some really nice ambiance to it. The next couple days, I just spent building up the ruins and doing general farming things, but on day 48, I woke up to pillagers attempting to raid my ruins. How rude! I didn't even invite them, so I had to show them why they call me the blind sniper. It's because I missed my shots. I didn't have any golden apples in my inventory since I wasn't expecting this fight, so these guys could potentially proc my totem on dying, so I had to be very careful. The battle lasted a pretty long time as I was sniping them from quite a distance and I was missing a lot. But once I thought they were dead, I approached where they were and I heard a pillager. In fact, my game audio kind of bugged and it sounded like there were like 3 or 4 villagers and I got super scared. Fortunately, there was only one left, so I just made some distance and I dealt with the invader. Now I can get back to what was really important, setting up my enchanted ruins. I got confused for a while as it seemed like my enchantment setup wasn't giving level 30 enchantments, but I figured out it was just because there was snow between the bookshelves and the enchantment table, so I had to remove that. The first enchant I saw was Fire Aspect, which reminded me of my mixtape, but since my rap career isn't popping off, I decided I'd just check my pickaxe and lo and behold, Fortune 2 was available, which seemed like the best enchant to me just because it would give me bonus diamonds when I found more. I didn't have enough XP to enchant it, so I left, and here you can get a nice look at the completed ruins. It's not like a grind level building or something, but I really like how it turned out. It's a nice experience going to the enchantment table now. Day 49 was just farming and housekeeping basically, as well as getting a golden apple up and some more arrows, as on day 50 I was going to start trekking into the Nether. This time, however, I remembered to put on my Gucci pants, so now piglins are not a threat, as they respect the drip. My goal was simple: get quartz for XP, get gold for apples, and find another fortress. All of these are really scary, but getting gold specifically would really help me since I can trade it with piglins for ender pearls instead of having to fight with endermen. However, on that note, trading for the ender pearls took a very long time and a lot of gold. This basically just became my life for the next 20 days, since nether gold is only nuggets and, well, I need a lot of XP, so I'll basically just be going over the highlights from these days. Day 52, I got my Fortune Diamond pickaxe, as well as setting a lapis chest beside the enchantment table because I kept forgetting to bring lapis to the ruins. I got insanely lucky when I enchanted my pickaxe because I got a Breaking 2 and Efficiency 4, which just basically makes this the perfect pickaxe. Day 56, I found another fortress, actually pretty close to the portal, which would be scary, but in the past couple days I got more golden apples and enchanted my armor a bit, so hopefully it'd be alright. I explored on one side and there wasn't much, but then immediately upon entering the other side, there was a wither skeleton. These are actually quite scary, as they're fast and the area is hard to deal with, because if I miss an arrow on them, I could hit a pigman and that could just end the run immediately. Fortunately, this wither skeleton died in one shot. Turning back around, I realized there were 2 more wither skeletons, which was pretty scary. I've never had so many wither skeletons spawn so quickly. Usually I feel like I have to explore a decent bit just to find a couple, but I smoked them. They aren't quite as hard as evokers, but if they get the jump on me, it could be rough. As I approached, I heard another and looked around, and then I saw this guy running up on me. Another 2 were there. Then I also heard a ghast crying in the background, which was the last thing I needed. Fortunately, I don't think the ghast was nearby, so I just got rid of these guys. With those guys down, I could roam the halls of the fortress looking for a blaze spawn. Fortunately, I found one pretty much immediately and picked off a blaze nearby, getting his rod, but his buddies spawned immediately looking for vengeance. However, because of this terrain, they couldn't really escape because they were locked in by netherrack, and I could just shoot them from below, which was really optimal. I got 11 rods, and I felt like I'd be pushing my luck if I kept going. I was also unsure about blaze damage, so I'd wasted a bunch of golden apples and didn't want to lose anymore. I looked around a little bit for some nether wart because I was hoping to get some nice potions, however, unfortunately I couldn't find any, which does suck, but alas, such is life. I got back home on day 58 and caught my villagers goofing off in the ravine. They appeared stuck, so I graciously saved them, hoping in the future they'd reward me monetarily. Also on that day, I enchanted my last piece of diamond armor. It's prot 3 instead of 4, but it did get in breaking, and it's a fairly trivial difference for my purposes as of now. I still get one-shot by most scary mobs anyways. However, I was pretty decked now, with prot 4 helmet and leggings and prot 3 chest and boots. I was much tankier now than before, which was quite satisfying. On day 59, I think the voices started talking in my head again, because for some reason I decided to make these, well, upgrades to the portal. Don't worry though, later on I made the portal really nice, but for now we have whatever this is. At least I seemed happy about it at the time. Later that day, I went on a gold run in the nether and did some piglin trading. I got very unlucky with ender pearl trades. I think from my footage I was getting an ender pearl trade for every 20 gold I gave a piglin, but crying obsidian and blackstone are pretty blocks, so at least there's that. I also found this rundown portal with the chest, and I had to check that out because there could be some nice loot. Normally I'd just jump down, however since I have 1 heart that would just kill me, so I safely built down. There was a gold block, which is super valuable since it's basically a full golden apple, and the chest itself was alright. There was a golden hole inside, which, I mean, compared to my Curse of Vanishing book I got earlier, isn't that much, but it's still kinda good. Afterwards, I was just chilling with my zombie pigmen when a ghast decided to roll up to my turf, so I had to show him why they call me the young bow spammer. I must also mention spectral arrows are really nice since it just saves me flint farming. Day 60 and 61 entailed farming and more farming, but on day 62, something very sad would happen. I was just walking around chilling when all of a sudden an Enderman attacked. I didn't really know what to do as I couldn't let go of my totem or I could lose all my progress instantly, but if I let go of my shield I would lose my totem. He kinda just hit my shield around for a while until eventually I got hit and I realized I had to minimize my losses and just mind a hold to kill him safely. I realized after the fact there were probably ways I could have survived without losing my totem, but in the moment I was just very surprised and couldn't find another way out. Whatever though, I got an ender pearl full of totem. Totally worth trade, guys. Yeah, totally. Losing that totem was really concerning as I didn't feel like 2 totems would be a safe bet for the Ender Dragon fight, so I decided the next day I'd just go back to the Woodland Mansion since I'd inevitably need more totems in the long term. Found another buried treasure map on the way though, so I had to spend the whole day trying to find it. At least I got some diamonds and sand from getting it. I got back to the mansion on day 65 and it was then that I realized evokers don't respawn. My initial plan was just to refarm the evokers that were in easy spots, but they were nowhere to be found, so I had to delve deeper into the more treacherous parts of this mansion. I found another evoker after a couple of minutes of exploring the mansion and quickly and precisely killed it without missing a single arrow. Then a zombie fell from heaven and I saw Vex's. I thought I'd killed it fast enough that it couldn't summon, but then I heard Fang snap and I wasn't sure what was happening. But then it dawned on me. Another evoker had somehow aggroed on me that I couldn't even see. I tried to get a vantage point, but I couldn't find it at first, so I just had to run away. Eventually, though, I went back in and collected the totem before it despawned and dealt with that other evoker. Then I had to run away because there were a ton of Vindicators. I lost a lot of golden apples and nearly my totem, but now I had 4 totems of Undying and was feeling pretty confident. We'd be able to go to the Ender Dragon soon, but first I had to get home. I got home on day 67 and it was back to business with the pigs. Damn! Soul Sand? That's exactly what I wanted. I needed exactly 3 Soul Sand from this piglet so I could cry into it as I waited for my last Ender Pearl trade. Day 69. Nice. I already had 13 Ender Pearls, which would probably work, but I was hoping for one more just in case I got unlucky with breaking and maybe the Ender Portal was super far. So I brought 25 gold thinking, surely I'd get an Ender Pearl trade and have some gold left over. Yeah, that didn't happen. I handed the pigman my last gold ingot, sad about the fact I could have made 3 golden apples with that gold, hoping he'd give me the Ender Pearls. He didn't. So I just decided hopefully 13 would be good enough, because I'm not getting more gold. On the bright side at least, all that piglin gravel would help me with the flint farming for my arrows anyways. Days 70 and 71 were mostly just spent collecting resources, but on day 71 I got a feather falling option for my book in the enchanting table, so I decided that'd probably be a good investment for my Gucci slippers in case I slipped somewhere. I crafted my last set of arrows and now had just under 3 stacks of arrows and 13 eyes of Ender and was ready to go to the end. In retrospect, making a couple more golden apples likely would have been good, but at the time, I was really tired of gold farming and felt 5 would be fine. Day 72, I started my trek to the end portal. I threw my first eye and got kinda turned around, but eventually found where I was pointing and started traveling. I found this pretty cool village on my way there, and I decided to throw another eye here. The angle had kinda changed, so I was hopeful that I was getting close. I made it a solid distance and threw my pearl again. Glad I did as well, because I was going a bit too far to the side. Unfortunately, my eye broke, but I still had 12, so hopefully the portal was getting close. I found another village pretty close together and threw my pearl again, and this time it went directly behind me, so I realized I had to have already passed it, so I started digging down. Not straight though, of course, because I'm a gamer. I know how to not straight, I'm a gamer. After some mining in pitch black because I forgot my torches, I mined a stone brick and realized I was at the stronghold already. To my surprise, I was also already at the portal. This was incredible, but first I had to deal with the silverfish spawner. I mean, the silverfish aren't even that scary, but I still had to remove it. I blocked off the entrance so no mobs could spawn since there was darkness everywhere and I had no torches to deal with it, and I approached the portal. This was it. I'd spent 30 plus hours doing this challenge and had failed multiple times. The weight of this moment wasn't lost on me as I knew that the Ender Dragon would be the biggest threat I faced yet, but I composed myself, got some water, and jumped in. I had to quickly build up to the island. Fortunately, I spawned fairly close, but if I got knocked off here, no totem of Undying is saving me from the endless void. I got up and started by attempting to snipe the tallest end tower I've ever seen, but I don't think my bow was able to reach it, so I went on to the shorter ones. While I was sniping, a random Enderman attacked, and I was getting PTSD from the Nether. Fortunately, I had multiple buckets of water though, so I could force them off me. I brought extras because I knew they'd be invaluable here. Though, my armor now was also a lot stronger and I had golden apples up, so one Enderman is a lot less scary, but multiple could really destroy me. I killed him and got back to work. I built up to one of the cage towers and used the higher vantage point to try to snipe some of the harder crystals. I got scared as the Ender Dragon got pretty close, but fortunately I could dodge him by jumping off into the water. I built up to one of the taller cage towers and put my snowballs to use. I was very careful while clearing the end crystals as I could easily die from the explosion they generate. I killed all the end crystals and got to sniping. My bow was strong, but it still took quite a few shots to put down the Ender Dragon. I had to be very careful as a single tick of his dragon breath would kill me. And if the Ender Dragon hits me straight on, I could easily die from fall damage or even just his hit. After a while, I'd completely run out of golden apples and was getting nervous. This guy drifted onto me and I got super scared. But fortunately, I didn't quite get launched and got off a bunch of big hits. At one point, after he stopped floating in the center, he came right towards me, but this time I couldn't get out of it. I lost my second totem on dying. I was now down to only 2, but he was half health, so hopefully I'd be fine, but this was getting really close. He was getting really low, and I thought one last shot would kill him, but not quite. Then I got clipped by some dragon breath I didn't realize I was in the range of, lost another totem. I was down to my last one and was running low on arrows, so this was getting really tight. Just had to hit one more arrow, but man, I really wish that last arrow could have killed him. I pulled back my bow for a final shot and killed him. I was ecstatic and honestly so happy that all my work had paid off here and I didn't die. I really began to appreciate how cool the Ender Dragon death is with all the lights and explosion. I wish they had more bosses like this in Minecraft. But now, it's time to pick up that juicy XP. Yummy. I got up to level 66 and I was super hyped. I then went to collect the egg. Initially I was only aware you could use a piston to break the egg, but I saw on Google you can use a torch, so I borrowed one from the exit portal and I was able to get it. I wasn't done though. I decided I'd take the End Island gate as I wanted an elytra. I was out of golden apples, so this would be really scary, but I had one totem and a dream. It'd also be kind of bland if I didn't get an elytra since I'm already in the end. So I got exploring for an end city. This was really scary. I felt immense dread building between each island, as if I fell at any point, it was lights out. For some reason, I never felt this building in the Nether, but I guess when you're in the Nether, you can see what's below you, but in the end, it's just void. I found one pretty close by, but unfortunately, it had no end ship, quite disappointing. However, I saw another end city within my render distance, so I just headed to that one. This end city did have a ship, however, I realized quite quickly tackling it would be difficult, so I decided the safest way of avoiding a Shulker Armageddon was I would build underneath the ship and mine up through it. Shulker's damage is not insane, but given how many can spawn and how far their projectiles go, in addition to the levitation effect, it can very quickly lead to me losing my last totem, putting me in a precarious situation. Also, I need to just say, the Shulkers have the most uncomfortable noise ever. Like, if you get very close to them without killing them, you just hear all this, like, you know what I'm saying? I got very well acquainted with this noise, and it was kind of annoying. I entered the ship, slowly and cautiously. The Shulker immediately saw me, though, and didn't like me here. Fortunately, my bow swiftly disposed of him. I picked up my well-earned reward with a sigh of relief. That could have went a lot worse. I cleared out some parts of the city, getting horrifically mediocre loot from the chest, and decided to ender pearl down. I was considering elytraing down, but I got scared since the Shulkers were still shooting at me, so I just took the fast pass, which could have gone wrong if an ender might spawn or something, but fortunately I was alright. I was now done with the end. Well, not before I raided one of the towers, which took a while as I was being really careful. Funnily enough, in this chest I got really nice diamond leggings, but they were the exact same enchants as my currently equipped leggings, so it was kinda pointless. There was also a Bane of Arthropods forge sword, which is hype. Anyways, I got back to my exit portal and realized it was already day 75, so about 3 days had passed, but I had no idea whether it was day or night. So I entered the portal with my bed ready to sleep, because even at this point, normal mobs can be incredibly threatening if there's enough of them. I jumped through the portal and saw the credits for a little bit. Also, I don't know if you guys have ever had this, but when I first beat the Ender Dragon and jumped in here, I didn't realize you could skip the credits, so I just had to sit through the whole thing and got kind of bored. It was night when I got back, and I realized I could have just spawned back at my house if I left my bed, but alas, I quickly made a platform to sleep before mobs started overwhelming me. A creeper rolled up on me as I was going home, so I had to show him my new diamond sword from the end city. It wasn't the Bane of Arthropods 4 one, there was another with knockback and sharpness too, which helps quite a bit against creepers as it gives me extra range to work with. Halfway home, I went in some water, and when I emerged, it had suddenly become a raging storm, so I just took a nap because I did not want to get hit by lightning or anything. I returned home on day 77, happy with how the Ender Dragon fight went, but now I had big plans for improving my base and going towards the other bosses. My first plan of action was to deal with my eyesore of a nether portal. This took the whole day to make, but I was honestly really satisfied with how it came out. Those crying obsidian blocks and quartz really came in handy. On day 79, while I was looking for a good area to build my new project, I heard some villagers and realized 3 of them were just in this hole, and I think they've been here for a long time, because one of these villagers went missing like 40 days ago, and I had no idea where he was. I had to get a new cartographer because he went missing. Watching this footage really amuses me. As you can tell, I considered saving them, and then for whatever reason, I just decided not to and left. Later that day, I started building this white tentacle bone something or other coming out of the water. I really thought it looked nice, but yeah, it looked terrible, so I destroyed it. Quartz is pretty expensive, collecting wise, so it was ugly and expensive, so I didn't want to keep it. Day 80, I started construction of a nice tower to observe my whole village from. Anyone who's played Minecraft with me will tell you I basically am permanently just building tall glass towers, so this is kind of in theme, though a glass tower is fairly poetic given how quickly I can die and lose everything. I ran out of glass, slowing down progress, but on day 84 the tower was starting to take shape, though it was still a while from being finished, so I'll just fast forward to it being done, since it took way too long to be honest. Day 92, and I finally finished my project. I really loved how it turned out with the fire ring. It's a nice flying structure and looks really lovely from a distance where you can't see its flaws. Currently though, it has no practical uses, though I have some plans to make it more useful in the future, and it's always nice just having a cool landmark. Here I tried to get a fun shot of me flying through the hole, but I missed the hole initially, but what can you expect of me? I'm a gamer. I'm always missing holes. Day 93, I decided to try to find the ocean monument as I was considering raiding it, especially since the golden side would serve as a pretty nice use for golden apples later. I also wanted the prismarine for some ideas I had. It wasn't too far, but immediately upon finding it, a guardian started beefing, so I had to make some distance. This was a really cool temple though, as I've never seen one that was hidden under the ice like this. However, I googled the damage of guardians and decided with only 1 totem and no golden apples, it'd probably be too risky, so I'd head home and leave this as an adventure for later. I also must mention that the tower looks so nice as I'm coming into Rage of the Base. Day 94, I decided my animals had been living a fairly depressing life, so I started a project to make their home a bit more pleasant. It may not be clear what I was doing at first, but don't worry, since I also didn't know what I was doing at first, but it ended up working. This project luckily didn't take anywhere near as long as the tower. However, it got a bit delayed as the next time I opened Minecraft, I realized the game just had a major update, which is a bit hype as I could check that out. However, I only had a couple more days left. Day 95, I finished digging out the area for my animals, and was a bit confused as to how to go about finishing my project, but first I had to leash them into the hole. They already looked happier with the additional space, however unfortunately, I think a baby cow grew up while in this 1 block space and suffocated. Well, I guess that's just natural selection. I set up some farm decorations and path blocks, and I think overall it looked quite nice, a lot better than just the fences that were there before. Day 96, I felt happy with my base for now, and decided I'd go explore and see if I could find any of the new update stuff, maybe even cherry blossoms. I landed in a plains and was out of fireworks, so I decided to adventure by foot for a while. Day 97, I found this really sick structure that I think must be part of the new update, as I've seen destroyed portals before, but this one was way more grandiose than the others I've seen. First thing I did was obviously yoink the chest loot. It had glistening melons, which is not super useful for me as I still don't have nether wart, but at least there was gold on top which I could use. I decided it would be fun to fix the portal and light it up. Boom! Oh, wait, that was the moment I realized you can't use crying obsidian for a portal. Well, boom. It worked that time, yeah, great. I went to bed pleased with this really cool portal. I'm already kinda liking this update. Later while I was exploring, I bridged over this river and to my surprise found this really peaceful and lovely village, which kind of gave me an idea to making a rail network or something, since I kinda like this place, maybe in the next 100 days. After saying hello to all the villagers, I saw this really cool shipwreck in the distance, which also seemed to be a new part of the update, so I had to check it out. I made it to the boat and built up onto it. This ship was using quite a few different woods, but not in a very complimentary way. Clearly this builder needs to watch more Grind videos. I found the chest and clicked it like 20 times, but it wasn't opening, so I went to the surface since I was worried about my game bugging. As I got up, the chest opened with a loot. Quite weird, but whatever. Then closed itself, I assume because I clicked it a bunch or had already left the area, so I went back down and picked up those weird looking items I'd never seen before. Smithing templates, I heard there were armor trimmings in this new update, which I was now very excited to get for myself. Also a buried treasure map, which is always nice. The night came and went, and it was day 99. I wanted to find some more new update stuff before day 100, so I went to the buried treasure map, or, well, I tried, until I realized that for some reason the buried treasure map had just turned into a normal map of the area. Unlucky, but it already had 2 Eyes of the Sea, so it's alright, and I don't want to spend the next full day just digging up the buried treasure again. I got back on day 100, which, I don't know if it got cut off in my recording software or if I accidentally didn't put the last 0, but it just said day 10 in the top left. However, I got a mending book for my elytra, which I had some difficult choosing a name for it. I just ended up with naming it Wings, because I'm a winner, I guess, I don't know. I spent a while thinking about which pieces of armor to trim and with what mineral, and I decided on trimming my helmet and boots with quartz. I think it looks pretty lovely. The rest of the day, I just spent touring everything I built and winding down from the adventures. I was trying to take thumbnails, but then I realized I couldn't find my screenshot folders later on, so I just had to retake the thumbnail. Anyways, this was a really nice challenge that made me get a newfound appreciation of Minecraft and what you can do in it. I appreciate anyone who watched this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see another 100 days, please let me know in the comments, as I have a lot of cool ideas for continuing the series. I hope you guys have a nice day.